So I bought my tickets, and all my friends gave me pages and pages of advice and restaurants and contacts and places to go. In fact, one of my very good friends had just gotten back from Cannes, and she said the French are very, very polite to say please and thank you for everything. Please and thank you, please and thank you. So I got on my plane, and I flew to Paris. And I got to Paris, and Delta, which is entirely staffed by the foster children of Satan, had lost my luggage. So I was in Paris with nothing except my little carry-on bag. Yay! So I made it to my hotel, and I took a cat nap, and I go out, and I'm walking around Paris, and I'm trying to remember the names of the places my friends told me to go to, but yeah, I can't really remember. And this really attractive, tall Frenchman with blue, sparkling eyes, he's walking towards me as I'm walking down the street, and he says, "You're very cute in French." And my friend said, "Be polite," so I say, "Thank you." And I keep walking. And then I get to this street, and I'm waiting to cross, and I look up, and there he is, smiling at me. And I started to laugh because I thought it was funny. And he said, "Well, how are you doing?" in French. And I said, "I'm good. How are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm good." And I said, in French, "Do you speak any English?" And he says, "Not at all." "Do you speak any French?" And I say, "Only a little." And I think that's the end of that conversation. And he says to me, "Would you like a drink?" And I think to myself, I've only been in Paris for 8 hours. I haven't eaten since 10 o'clock in the morning. I have absolutely no bearings in this city. I have no idea who this guy is. I've got no idea about French culture. And I'm across a fucking ocean from every person who cares about me. Do I want a drink? No. I need a drink. So we go to this cafe, and we get Kier, and he's smoking and drinking, and I'm drinking, and it's like a foreign film, and we're talking to each other, but only very simple questions, how old are you, what do you do for a living, where do you live? And then he launches into this monologue, in this very impassioned French, about the story of his life, of which I understand 3 things. His grandfather was a sailor, he's from Normandy, and he's a florist. So we have 2 glasses of Kier, it's getting late. He says to me, "Are you hungry?" I think I could eat the table at this point. So we walk. And we're walking, and we come to the door of an apartment building. It occurs to me that I never asked him where we were having dinner. And I realized that, he's going to take me to his apartment, or his abattoir, or his cannibalistic online salon, or whatever it is. And I think this is where a sane person would say, no. But there are never any of them in my stories. So I follow him up this winding spiral staircase, very French. And he opens the door on the most gorgeous bathroom I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's got this porcelain, bathtub with the lion's feet, and very Belle Epoque, and then he's got the shower on a different side of the room, and it's got all the, it's like just decadent and huge. It's bigger than my whole kitchen, and then the kitchen, he shows me, is bigger than his whole apartment, and then there's the study, and there's the bedroom with the chandelier and the 4-poster bed and the fireplace, and then there's the dining room with the grand piano with the, the candelabra on top. And then there's the living room with a chandelier, and another bedroom, and and I'm thinking, baby, what kind of flowers are you selling? Are you an opium dealer? Like what? And I think he's just going to rip my clothes off, and I am completely okay with that. But we sit on the couch, and we eat, and we drink more kir, and we talk as much as we can. And he brings out this photo album, and he's showing me pictures of his sister and his brother and his family from Normandy. And finally, he starts kissing me. He starts kissing me and kissing me. And he picks me up and he carries me into that bedroom with that four-poster bed and the chandelier and the fireplace. And people don't actually have these nights, right? This is something that just happens in movies, but it's picture perfect. And he's taking off my clothes, and I am not stopping him. And he slides down my leopard print panties, and suddenly I'm naked. I am naked in Paris, before I'd even had dinner. And he begins to give me oral pleasure. And I'm one of those women who, guys in college were always saying, oh, I love the oral sex. I could take a snorkel and a good book down there and be down there for hours. And in reality, what they meant was, I will perform oral sex under a very strict corridor of circumstances. Like, if Mercury is in the second house and the full moon, shines on the reliquary of the umbilicus of Christ while you jump on one foot and invoke, Cthulhu while you're douching with 20 Mule Team Borax, I might do oral sex for 20 minutes. And as a result, I became convinced that men don't really like oral sex. They actually just do it to, convince us to get naked. And you can't enjoy it when you're just thinking about how miserable the other person is. So I'm lying naked on this bed in Paris, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain to him that I don't enjoy oral sex. And of course, I don't know the word for blowjob in French because I was too busy learning marine life. And I'm trying to figure out how to use, dolphins as like some subtle literary symbolic reference. It's not going to happen. So I finally realized, I'm just going to have to let him figure it out on his own. He's just going to keep going and realize I'm not enjoying it. And the minute I let go and allow him to do what he wants to do, I begin to realize that I do not want him to stop. And suddenly my eyes are closed and my back is arched and my heels are digging into the backs of his shoulders, and I am so far beyond language, and all I can think is, don't stop, but I can't say it, and it's all right, because he's not going to. And he doesn't, until he hears the high siren call of my orgasm. And I relax on that bed, and I let him go. And he stands up, and I realize that he's still fully dressed. And he takes off his shirt and his pants. And he gets back down on the bed, and he starts kissing me and telling me how beautiful I am. And that if I was his, he would make love to me like this all the time, every day. And I realize what this has really all been. Foreplay. And he tells me that he loves me. And it doesn't matter that I don't believe that he means it, because it's been so long. And I close my eyes on that bed, and I think, I am never leaving Paris. And that is the story of my first night in Paris. Chit-chat.